one of my favorite guests joining us here on the show right now. You see him on the NFL Network. You see him on NFL.com. You see him everywhere the NFL is. He's a fantasy guru, a handsome man, and a friend of mine. His name is Adam Rank, and he joins us this morning on the show. Adam, good morning.
Hey, good morning. What's happening? I love the introduction. You are far too kind to me. Just see, I'm like the pilot fish swimming along with the shark. I'm just happy to just be in your wake and ride along with you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Before the show, we were trying to figure out how to term you, how to graphic you on our simulcast. We said, is it NFL Network host? Is it NFL Network personality? NFL Network court jester? What would be appropriate here?
TV's Adam Rank. Funny man. I don't know.
Funny man.
It's always weird. Yeah, no. It's weird because I do a lot of different things, and I have to still, even though I've got an amazing job, and it's awesome. I love working in football and everything like that, but there's still like a lot of corpo parts to it where you have to do goals and you have to do like yearly reviews and things like that. And my boss the other day was just like, what do you do? Like, she's like, what is exactly like your job title? Because you're doing everything. Like you're on every show. You're doing like everything. They need a fantasy analyst on TNF First Look. You go do that. You got to go on In Case You Missed It with Taylor Bisciotti, and you go do something there. And then the other day I saw you changing the paper towels in the bathroom. I was like, listen, anything I can do to stay relevant. It's like, I'm the Danny Woodhead, I guess, of the NFL. How about that? Just a little bit of everything.
As a Bears fan growing up in the 80s, of course, you have the beloved 1985 Bears. And interestingly, Ron Rivera said that Baker Mayfield reminds him of Jim McMahon, the punky QB. I wanted to go to the source. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
You know what? I'm not mad at that at all. I think that's a pretty good assessment of him. And obviously he's going to draw from his experience because he played with McMahon. So of course that's somebody he's going to compare him to. And I know to Bears fans, that's the highest esteem possible. I know I've probably told you, like my rankings of Bears quarterbacks in my lifetime, it's not a great list. It's McMahon's number one, and then Mitch is already number two. That's how bad it is. Then you got Cutler at three, Walter Payton on the halfback option at four, and then it's ABRG, which is anybody but Rex Grossman. And so really, the Bears fans still love Jim McMahon to this day, and again, that's the highest regard. But I do get it. I like the attitude that Baker Mayfield has. I know that what he did to Hugh Jackson, I understand some people were saying that, hey, Hugh Jackson should be able to go out and eat. And you're like, that's fine, but Baker Mayfield can still be upset about it and be a little salty. And if I'm a fan of the team, and I'm paying $16 for beers inside that stadium, I spent $200 on a jersey, I want somebody who has the same feelings about this that I do, that I feel like we're on the same side. He's not just, playing around, like he's taking this as seriously as I do. So I kind of like that, and I do like the comparison.
I agree on all of those counts. A discussion we've had this week on the show is what effect the AFC East has had on the Patriots' success. Now, you're a Bears fan, and you've run your helmets into the Vikings, into the Packers, even the Lions when the Lions have been good and made the playoffs. Meantime, the Patriots have gone up against basically pudding oatmeal for 18 years. Do you think, because Patriots fans would absolutely defend against this, but do you think the AFC East has had a hand in the Patriots' greatness over 18 years?
Well, it does help a little bit, obviously, not having a true rival, so to speak. I know the Jets had some run. The Dolphins always give them a hard time. The Dolphins have beaten the Patriots 4 out of 5 times.
The Jets
down in Miami.
had 2 years. Let's get it straight. People keep saying the Jets.
Right.
They had 2 years.
All right. Well, listen, but what if about the notion of iron sharpens iron? I think then is it more impressive what the Patriots are doing? Like if you're sitting there and you're playing Madden, if you're playing Madden against the computer, like you think you're the hardest dude in the world. You're like, dude, I rolled up. Dude, I scored 73 on the Bills the other day. Tom Brady, 600 yards. You think you're good. Then you sit next to your buddy who plays other human beings who are cunning and not a computer simulation, and you get worked. So maybe it's more impressive what Bill Belichick's doing. And by the way, I know that it was a Steelers fan that started bringing this up, which I find absolutely rich. Like Steeler fan is bemoaning the Patriots easy division. I'm sorry. How many games have the Browns won over the previous 2 years? You have a division with Marvin Lewis as a head coach, and let me tell you, Steeler fans have also told me that Joe Flacco is not elite and that he's kind of a garbage quarterback. So, okay, so that team's not good. Their defense has been fine for a couple of years. So don't act like the Steelers haven't waltzed through it. There's a lot of bad teams in the NFL. I think it's fair to say the Patriots have had a little bit of an advantage with their division, but I don't think that it's the reason why they're good year in and year out.
Adam Rank joins us from NFL Network. Well, I would respectfully disagree on the Steelers take because you have a division where another team in the division goes to the playoffs, wins playoff games, and has won a Super Bowl. And then say what you will about the Bengals because they never win a playoff game, but they've gone to the playoffs, 7 times, and they've had 2 consistent quarterbacks, Andy Dalton and Carson Palmer. Yes, the Browns are a disgrace. But you look at the AFC East, I mean, I did the numbers the other day. Outside of the Tom Brady Pro Bowls, there's been 3 quarterback Pro Bowl seasons in 18 years in the AFC East. Bledsoe with the Bills in 2003, Favre with the Jets in 2008, and then a couple of years ago, Tyrod Taylor was like the 7th quarterback taken. So that's how awful the quarterbacking has been aside from Tom Brady in that division.
Still a Pro Bowler. So there, right? Right, still a Pro Bowler. I can't even think of did Dan Marino's career, did that intersect? Did he play long enough so I could be like, oh, they had Dan Marino? All right.
No,
listen,
no. He was
it's
done in 99.
Fine, the AFC East is garbage.
Thank you.
Don't try to sell me too hard on the Bengals, and you're like, oh, Andy Dalton. You're like, oh, okay, Andy Dalton's fine.
Andy Dalton would be by far the second best quarterback in the AFC East since Tom Brady took over, by far.
Wait, you already said Tyrod Taylor, so the question about who's the second best AFC East quarterback of all time, of this era, is clearly been defined. So I'm going to have to disrespectfully ask you not to besmirch Tyrod's name in my presence again, if you don't mind. This is a favor to me. I know that we're friends. I know you don't want to concede that point, but just as a favor to me, that would be appreciated. All right, the AFC East isn't great. It's not the most competitive division. But again, I go back to my thing. It's I find it impressive. If the Lakers were, if they were scrimmaging against an 8th grade, basketball team, and then they had to go out and play the Warriors, isn't that more difficult than if they had to actually practice against people that are their peers?
I like that reverse psychology.
I'm really impressed. You know what? I don't think the Patriots get enough credit for how tough they've had it because they get no competition, and then they have to walk. They get 12 preseason games, and then you see the teams in the first week of the season. They're always a little rusty. I think that we should start the movement. That DA, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say this is the Patriots division makes it more impressive. You heard it here first on the DA show.
I like that take. We can use that take. We can sell that take, especially in Boston. Adam Rank joins us from NFL Network.
We're going to be huge.
Huge.
We're going to be so over in Boston. It's like when CM Punk, and he walks into the Allstate Arena in Chicago and the place goes nuts. Now when we go to Boston, after we're floating around this take, dude, we're going to have every Sully and every dude out there in Southie buying us drinks. We've really got it made now.
Yeah, Kings of Boston, no doubt after this take. Would you trust Josh McDaniels to hire as a head coach of the offseason?
I probably wouldn't. I look at the Colts situation and how it's worked out for them. That sometimes the best deals that you just fall into your lap. I think that it might have been a mistake. I think that, Bill O'Brien's doing a fine job down there in Houston, and I know last night watching the Titans, and he's not really a Belichick disciple because he was not an assistant coach for the Patriots. I'm talking about Mike Vrabel. I still have a little apprehension of these guys getting second chances. Maybe it's unfairly on my part, but at the same time, I think that there's other. But what are the other options? That's the one thing that's going to be tough. Is who is that hot name coming up through the ranks? I think that this season we had hoped that it was going to be Matt LaFleur in Tennessee, and perhaps if he if Derrick Henry goes out and rushes for 250 yards for every game for the rest of the year, that might change people's mind. But there might not be a lot of options out there. So McVay might be like the best of the worst options, kind of like when you're driving across country and you're like, I need to find some place to eat. And you see like a QSR that you recognize. And you're like, well, I wouldn't normally eat here, but I know what I'm going to get. Like, I'm going to walk into Taco Bell and I know what I'm getting. I'm not going to get my expectations too high, but, and it could be fine, but, that could also, end disastrously. But that's what I kind of feel about Josh McDaniels right now.
I don't know if you've been keeping stock of all of the new football leagues, but there's the American Alliance Football League starting this year, then the XFL next year, and now Ricky Williams, T.O., and Simeon Rice have unveiled another football league called the Freedom Football League. I just want to know if you saw the same thing I did, that in the Freedom Football League, Ricky Williams, there's going to be an Ohio Players team. The Ohio Players. I got to feel like Adam Rank has an Ohio Players hat coming to him for Christmas 2021.
Yeah, I already got the jersey. I think that's a pretty good one. I like that. I'm already trying to figure out how we can work fantasy leagues in this thing. That's the one. That's where I'm going to have to stop people. I might get off Twitter forever when somebody's like, yeah, I've got my XFL lineup. Would you flex? And you're like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing DFS flex plays in the XFL. I'm going to have to ask somebody else to take over for that. But yeah, it's interesting. I want to see I thought, like, with the XFL names, everything the last time around, I thought it was pretty cool. And do I have an LA Extreme jersey? I do. Am I proud of it? I am. Listen, for the longest time, that was LA's, lone Super Bowl or lone football championship, professional level, until USC started winning. So it was like a pretty nice thing. It was a pretty cool thing. So I'm excited, but don't ask me. Yeah, I'm not going to be breaking down the fantasy and the kickers and the DSTs and all that stuff. I'm going to have to let you guys be on your own on that one.
I just have a quick tweet coming in. Can you ask Adam who I should start for the Memphis Express Week 1? Should it be Mettenberger or should it be Hackenberg under center for Memphis in Week 1?
Oh, yeah. Well, Hackenberg, we saw him in the preseason. He was looking pretty strong. He was completing 65% of it. And come on, stop. I'm going to have to know this stuff, aren't I? This is where my life. Yes. This is where my life is heading. I'm going to pull up all.
In February, if you don't think you are coming on to be our AAF fantasy expert, you are crazy.
Well, I took Terrell Pryor in the first round, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. Because he can play, he qualifies at both positions, so I think this is going to work out pretty well. There's a lot of players that I missed. Like, hey, Josh Ferguson. You're like, yeah, I would love. Like all the guys that you missed on that you thought were going to be good in the NFL. It's like, no. So I will have the research, I guess. Like Ron Jones, when he's out of the league in next season or whatever, it'd be like, oh yeah, I remember. So maybe we're on to something here.
Yeah, you've got a dossier in all of the Alliance of American Football players coming in this year to the AAF. Already set. Adam Rank, you can follow him on all of his social media channels.
What's the logo for the players? What does that logo look like?
They haven't unveiled the actual logos or rosters or infrastructure of the league or when it's going to play or how big the rosters are. We just know the team names, so they're a little ahead of themselves right now. Yeah, the Ohio players.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Adam Rank, follow him on all the social media channels, then also watch him NFL Network and read him at NFL.com. Thank you, Punky QB.
Hey, thanks, DA. The pleasure was all on this side of the phone.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Adam Rank joining us this morning on the show.